What you're holding right now isn't just a historical artifact. This is a 4,000-year-old crime file. It contains fraud, customer complaints, debt, interest, and the strangest part, this system might be more secure than the digital finance systems we use today. In this video, you'll see one of history's most famous fraudsters, the world's first organized trade network, and how accounting, not money, shaped civilization. Because in Kultepe, a town about 20 kilometers from Kayseri in Turkey, 23,500 clay tablets unearthed from the ground confront us with all the problems that the modern digital world thought it had solved 4,000 years ago. This video will show you. Blockchain, digital signatures, and data security aren't new inventions. They're modern versions of solutions developed by Mesopotamian merchants with clay tablets. Now let's enter the house of a copper merchant named Ea Nasir together. What you'll see there will forever change your perspective on money, trade, and trust. Around 1750 BCE, in the city of Ur, archaeologists were digging under a room in an ordinary house and encountered a strange sight. Hundreds of clay tablets. All of them were complaint letters addressed to the same man. This man is Ea Nasir. He didn't just scam one person, he defrauded dozens of customers as a copper merchant. But the really interesting part is this. This man kept all these complaints. Why? Because in that era, possessing written documents meant power. These tablets weren't just evidence of crimes. They were also a prestige showcase, saying, I was a great merchant. Everyone wanted to do business with me. However, there's one tablet that stands out from the others. This letter, written by an angry merchant named Nani, is on display at the British Museum today, and modern people read it with amusement. You kept promising to send me good copper, but you sent low-quality copper. You humiliated my messenger and sent him back. You took the money but didn't keep your word. No merchant trading with Dilmun has ever treated me like this. But don't stop here. Because these tablets don't just reveal a fraudster, they also expose the moment when modern economics was born. This is history's oldest known customer complaint letter. If you've stuck with me this far, thank you so much. Because this story is about to go to a much deeper and more disturbing place, and these complaint letters show us this. Humans haven't changed at all. 4,000 years ago, sellers who thought they were clever were deceiving people, selling low-quality goods and not keeping their promises. But the real bombshell is coming now. Because every stage of this trade, every detail, is inscribed on clay tablets. And these tablets whisper to us the behind-the-scenes of modern economics. Now, let's turn our route back to Kultepe in Kayseri, around 2000 BCE. This is the center of the world's first known organized trade network. Assyrian merchants travel thousands of kilometers from Mesopotamia to Anatolia. They establish more than 40 trade colonies here. And right at this point, a revolution occurs. Writing is invented. But pay attention. Writing didn't emerge for love letters, philosophy, or literature. Writing was invented for accounting. If what you've heard so far has made you think, I've never thought of it this way before, you can show it to me by liking the video. This like helps ensure that content like this continues. So, writing didn't arise from humanity's desire for self-expression. It was born from not wanting to forget what was owed. Because when a merchant sent goods from Assyria to Kultepe, they had to know who sent the goods, when they were sent, who received them, how much was paid, and which taxes were paid. That's exactly what the clay tablets fulfill. Merchants had special archive rooms in their homes. Tablets were lined up on shelves, stored in jars. Each tablet is a transaction record, an Excel file, and the records are so detailed that 4,000 years later, archaeologists can decipher from these tablets the entire trade network, all contracts, and even marriage and divorce cases. Imagine, thousands of years later, someone reading your credit card statements, emails, and court records. The Kultepe tablets are exactly that, a 4,000-year-old society's digital memory, but the only difference is the clay. How did this system work? An Assyrian merchant wants to buy copper from Dilmun Island. They gather capital, find investor partners, and prepare a caravan. And every step is recorded. First tablet. Person X contributed 5 minas of silver. Person Y contributed 3 minas. Profits will be shared between 40%, 60%. Second tablet, list of goods. Third tablet, travel expenses. Fourth tablet, delivery document. And the most critical part, the tablet is sealed while wet, then placed inside a clay envelope. A summary is written on the envelope. If the envelope is intact, it means the content hasn't been altered. Isn't this system doing exactly what modern digital signatures do? Pause for a moment and think about this. 4,000 years ago, people took data integrity more seriously than we do. This system preserves the integrity of the content, prevents forgery, and builds trust. Because in that world, the most valuable thing was trust. Suppose you're a merchant 4,000 years ago. Months-long journeys, bandits, storms, and great uncertainties. How do you know your goods arrived? The answer is very simple: written records. If the goods are lost, the responsible party is written on the tablets. If payment isn't made, the debt remains on the tablets. If a dispute arises, the evidence is on the tablets. This is where Ea Nasir's story becomes even more meaningful. The man committed fraud. But thanks to written records, he wasn't forgotten. Because writing is memory. And memory means power and might. Let's look at another story from Kultepe. There's an Anatolian female merchant named Madawada. This woman trades silver, negotiates, gives loans, takes loans, issues promissory notes, and goes to court. And the most surprising detail is this: to collect a receivable, she walks about 1,000 kilometers to Assyria and can file a lawsuit, because she has recorded documents, clay tablets, to present to the court. So, 4,000 years ago in Anatolia, a woman could engage in international trade, could seek legal rights, and could have a say in court. And we learn all this from clay tablets. A small note to those who say women had no voice in history. This information has been waiting for you on clay tablets for 4,000 years. It just took a while to be discovered. If you enjoy examining the behind-the-scenes of history, economics, and money through this lens, you can subscribe to the channel. Turning on notifications will ensure you're the first to know about new episodes in this series. So, what does this show us? Women were economically active in that era. In fact, in the Kultepe tablets, we even see queens sealing commercial agreements. For some contracts to be valid, both the king's and queen's seals were required. This is a structure even more advanced than modern two-factor authentication systems. How many countries today have commercial agreements under such strong oversight? But 4,000 years ago in Anatolia, this system was working. And we know this only thanks to the clay. What else do we learn from these tablets? Assyrian merchants didn't come to Anatolia just for trade. They married here, had children, and built lives. But there are interesting rules. If an Assyrian merchant married in Anatolia, he couldn't take a second wife. If he divorced, he had to pay the woman substantial compensation. Alimony, inheritance, marriage conditions, all written on clay tablets. So, the Kultepe tablets aren't just commercial records. They are also a legal system, a social security arrangement, a reflection of family structure, and a mirror of daily life. So far, about 23,500 tablets have been found, but only 25% of them have been read. So there's still a massive treasure from the past, underground. Every new tablet read changes the history we thought we knew a little more. In a recently deciphered tablet about caravan journeys, the foods consumed, fruits carried, and beers and wines drunk are detailed extensively. So, we know what people ate, drank, and how they lived 4,000 years ago. Because everything was recorded. Let's come to a critical point. Why were such detailed records kept? The answer is simple but profound. What wasn't written was forgotten. Ea Nasir is remembered as a bad merchant because the complaints were written. Madawada is known as a successful merchant because her successes were recorded. The Assyria-Anatolia trade network is known because every transaction was recorded. So, writing isn't just a communication tool. Writing is also memory, reputation, and power. And right here, the connection to the modern world is made. Today, when shopping on an e-commerce site, what do you look at? The seller's rating, the reviews, past transaction records. The essence of this system is the digital version of the Kultepe clay tablet system. Back then, If a merchant consistently sent quality goods, made payments on time, and stayed true to agreements, positive tablets were written about them. But merchants like Nasir were branded with negative tablets. This system worked because tablets were permanent. They couldn't be erased. They couldn't be changed. So, 4,000 years before blockchain and Bitcoin, people were already using an immutable, transparent, and distributed record-keeping system. The only difference was that it was done with clay tablets, not in a digital environment. But there's a darker side to it. What if someone broke the tablets? What if someone burned the archive? That's why merchants kept their tablets in special archive rooms, under lock, and in some cases, by making copies. Imagine, there was even a backup system. Now, look at the modern world. Your emails, bank records, social media data, all stored on digital servers. What if these servers get hacked, get deleted, get manipulated, or get controlled by governments or companies? Have you ever thought about it? The modern world promises us freedom, but at the same time, it makes us more controllable. Yes, just as you're thinking, clay tablets could be broken, but they couldn't be hacked. A central authority couldn't come and remotely delete all records, because everyone had their own archive. In some ways, the system 4,000 years ago was more resilient. There's another interesting detail. Archaeologists in Kultepe noticed that some tablets were deliberately broken. Why? Because when a debt was paid, the tablet was broken. So, the debt was physically cancelled. Today, when a loan is closed, a record remains in the system. But when a tablet was broken, everyone saw it. Physical evidence was there and there was no chance of hiding it. In some ways, this system was more transparent. Let's do one last thought experiment. What I'm about to say might be disturbing, because from this point, the topic isn't history, it's you. If archaeologists dig up your house 4,000 years from now, what will they find? Probably nothing. Because your life is in the cloud, on servers, on digital platforms. But this data won't last 4,000 years. It might not even last 40 years. Clay tablets lasted 4,000 years. They even hardened further in fires. There's an ironic situation. The most primitive technology turned out to be the most enduring. The most advanced technology is the most fragile. This tells us progress doesn't always mean better. Finally, we learn this. Trust is the foundation of every society, and trust is built with written records. Nasir destroyed trust. That's why, even 4,000 years later, he's remembered as the bad guy. Madawada built trust. That's why her name is associated with success. The Assyria-Anatolia trade network lasted 200 years, but when trust was lost, the system collapsed. Today, cryptocurrencies promise trust, but don't know how to sustain it. States want trust, but have forgotten how to build it. That's why clay tablets are still so valuable, because they show us how trust is built, protected, and destroyed. Nasir died, but the complaints didn't. Today, his name appears in museums, memes, and mocking posts on the internet. Because writing is immortal. Everything you write today, a comment, a message, a record, will remain after you. Maybe 100 years, maybe 1,000 years, and future generations will know you through them. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. Now, I want you to write this in the comments. Do you think clay tablets were more secure or modern digital records? Because this debate isn't just about history, it's about our future. Don't forget. The clay tablets whisper one last thing to us. Whoever writes is remembered. Whoever doesn't write is forgotten. Thanks for watching.